Hi everyone, I'm Tammy. And I used to busk. Now, how many of you have seen or know what busking is? Have you seen a busker? How many of you have seen a female busker? How many of you have seen an Asian female busker? That was probably me at some point. People always ask me, what is busking? Busking, is it panhandling? Is it, illegal? Is it something you do at raves? The best picture I can show you to describe what busking is that's me in a frumpy little outfit at Union Square or Times Square. That's busking. Busking taught me a lot of things, including how to earn $100 and $200 per night. 3 hours of, busking. I would get really awkward after a while because I have to go to the bank and give this to the teller and hope she doesn't ask me questions. I promise you I have a job. That's what I would joke with her. Is busking safe? Is it safe because, there are homeless people on the subway, there are, maybe people on something fun, basically. I tell them busking is actually not that dangerous when it comes to, interacting with the homeless. They are actually the most giving people that I've met. They're the ones who give me change, and I tell them, I don't need it, I have a job. But they're like, no, thank you so much for blessing us with your music tonight. We really enjoyed it. And it's amazing how some people who have so little are willing to give so much. It's the typical well-dressed male of a certain demographic that I usually have to worry about. I'll tell you an incident that happened one of the last times I busked. I was in the subway doing my thing, and this man comes up to me, and he's looking at me, checking me out, and then he leaves. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll continue doing my thing. And then I turn to my left, and he's there, kind of watching me. And he slowly makes his way closer and closer and closer. And I just tell him, sorry, you're making me uncomfortable. He's like, he has this key around his neck, and he goes, take me home, take me home. I'm like, go away. This happens continuously for 20 minutes until I couldn't stand it anymore. And the sad thing is, no one noticed what was happening. This is Union Square we're talking about, or Times Square, I can't remember. One of the busiest subways in New York. And no one cares. No one sees what's going on, not even the police that's standing. There's always police around the stations. All except this one Asian dude that actually came up to me, and he's actually here in the crowd tonight. I don't know where he is. Where's Charles? Charles, shout out to Charles. He came up to me and asked, hey, are you okay? You need help? I was like, yes, can you wait for me until I pack up, please? And he said, yes, okay. So I quickly packed up, and we were heading, he was walking me to the platform that I needed to be on, and this guy continues to follow us. So I had enough at this point. Here I am trying to make rent. I was working on some inner demons, and this guy is bugging me continuously. So I went up to a police officer and I said, hey, excuse me, sir. You saw me standing over there, doing my thing, not bugging anybody. Now this guy over here, I don't know why I'm talking in a southern accent. This guy over here is bugging me. Basically, I told him what was happening. And so this police officer goes up to this man and says, excuse me, sir. You okay? You okay? Why you bugging this girl? You okay? And to which the guy just mumbles something and then walks off. And that was it. That was the encounter. So obviously, for me, I was quite disappointed. I had lost some faith in the American justice system, but at the same time, I gained a lot of confidence in our culture. First moral of the story is Asian men and women are awesome. Can we acknowledge this bunch right here? Where am I right now? So I am currently a music teacher. I started my own school on the Upper West Side. Yeah, teachers. I see you, Annie. Yeah. And we teach, I have to date over 80 students and a team of about 7 teachers. It's a lot of fun. It drives me crazy. Shouts to one of my students' fathers who actually came out to support. He's awesome. This is Junie. I also perform. I'm a singer-songwriter. I will be hopefully playing for you guys. Yeah, I have an EP on Spotify, iTunes called Secret. I came to the US 9 years ago from Singapore. Yeah, 9 years ago. At the age of 19, I came for college. I went to Berkeley, and I put a mishmash of icons of what my life was like over the last few years. If you can't see, there's Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Shout out to anyone you from Virginia. I worked at Harlem School of the Arts. I worked as a babysitter. I worked at Dance with Miss Rachel. I worked at Berkeley Music House. I even worked as an Uber Rush messenger. Guys, you have no idea. These bike messengers are crazy. I will never do that again in my life. And I worked at a couple startups, which you can see little arrows here that the slide can't really show. The hustle is real. So I always tell people, they ask, how did I get here? And I have my mom to thank for that. My mom and my dad. They're both still in Singapore. But it's because of their education, them pushing me as a child and my sister to actually learn music, learn an instrument. This really, really helped me. And this is kind of the philosophy I adopt now when I teach my own students. So obviously, I'm guessing most of you had some kind of experience growing up learning an instrument, right? It may have been pleasant, it may not have been. So my goal obviously is to change that, because nowadays we understand that when you learn piano, you may not become a Yo-Yo Ma, just like how you may not become a Jeremy Lin if you pick up basketball, and that's okay. It's good to have these people as role models. It gives you something to work toward. But at the same time, that may not be the goal of learning music. When I teach my own students, I have two things in mind, two goals. One is to give them a safe, creative space for them to have an outlet. Because, in New York, we need that, especially kids in New York. My other goal is also to teach them how to deal with failure and hardship. It's a life skill that I feel like, as much as I'm trying to teach them these hard songs, I want to make sure that they walk away knowing that they can tackle anything. You may not get this piece right today, tomorrow, the next day, or you may not ever get it right, but the point is you don't give up. And there's this kind of tenacity and determination that I'm hoping to painlessly instill into their lives, while also teaching them a life skill, which is playing an instrument, which is what helped me through my life in New York. So let's move up to the conclusion. Two morals of the story. One is that Asian men and women are awesome. And another is I would encourage every one of you, no matter what your age is, to learn an instrument. Because when you learn an instrument, it will teach you so much more than just learning how to play Jingle Bells on the piano or learn, your favorite song, whatever that could be. It's what helped me through my first few years in New York when I was struggling to make rent. When the going got tough, I just picked up an instrument and went to busk. And with that, I will conclude because I felt raindrops. So thank you guys so much. Oh, one more thing. Despite being from Singapore, this sweater that I made says "Crazy Middle Class Asians." To show you that I'm not one of those guys. I wish I were. And this is a shameless plug that I'm taking pre-orders, so if you want any.
Oh, you might be a bit confused, and you might be a little bit bruised, but baby, how we spoon like no one else. And I will help you read those books if you would calm my worried looks, and we will leave the lonesome on the shelf. If you know the song, you can sing along too. Let's get rich and buy our parents' homes in the south of France. Let's get rich and give everybody nice sweaters and teach them how to dance. Let's get rich and build a house on a mountain, making everybody look like ants. Way up there, you and I